What is going on, YouTube people? New York Cards and Comics here tonight for Flipping Steve's fantasy football draft for the national giveaway. Flipping Steve late to his own party. That's right. He's not backstage yet. He must be scared this year to show up to the draft after getting spanked by Jeff Wilson in last year's league. He is afraid. He's already pulled multiple shenanigans with this draft and draft order leading up to it. It is utter chaos so far. And he is nowhere to be found at all. I cannot see him. I cannot hear him. I cannot see him text messaging me. To the best of my knowledge, he is hiding because he is afraid. But what are you going to do? We'll just have to carry on until he shows up. Draft starts in about 4 minutes. We'll run down the draft order once Flipping Steve shows up. Oh, there he is.
Hold on.
He crawled out from under the rock. You there, Steve?
Yeah. I'm just setting the stream on my channel.
Gotcha. Thought you were going to miss the start. You were slacking.
Yeah, I was trying to set up a thumbnail for this, and I'm slow with that shit. It won't start the draft until like we actually manually say go, right?
No, it'll automatically start at 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
No, it will.
Yeah.
I've always thought you've had to clear it to go.
No.
Schedule it for a certain time.
No, it just runs once the timer hits 0. You could pause it right from the get if you need to.
Right. I wonder how you do that. Is right now it's only letting me. It only lets me go directly into the draft now. I can't even access.
Yeah, you got to do it. You have to do it from in the draft software. So if you look at my screen, you see where I have players, pick history, and rules. You'll probably have a little league manager tab or something there. If you click on that, it gives you that pause option. Not only do I have to draft a team, I have to teach Steve how to use ESPN draft software.
I hate ESPN for fantasy.
I don't think Dusty Buns will be joining us. He's in Seattle, and they don't have internet there. Hambone is eating wings. I can't say Rounders 247 because I got Steve in the draft with me. He might snipe me at pick 3.
Yeah, you're going to get it at 11.
I thought I had freaking 6 all weekend. I'm like, oh, I got 6, and then today you're like, oh, that's not the draft order.
You're the only person that even was looking at that and seeing that.
I can't help that I'm ahead of the schedule.
So I can either draft from my phone or go into ESPN. Let's see what I want to do. Sign in.
Uh-oh. Live from the mean streets of Atlanta.
I'm on the mean streets of Atlanta here. What's going on?
To see that.
What's up?
This is the most inopportune place ever to be doing a fantasy draft. My son is at an after-school tutoring appointment, and I'm sitting out in the parking lot trying. I got my laptop out here, trying to get all my spreadsheets and intelligence up here so that I can win this league for a second year in a row.
Oh,
I like the dedication.
And we are
Dustin's in Seattle where the internet doesn't exist and he can't even grace our presence while you're literally in the middle of a road with a laptop and an iPhone pulling it off.
That is nothing will stop me. Nothing will stop me. Dustin's just gonna auto draft. Dustin's just auto drafting the entire Saints starting lineup anyway. So that's
yeah.
We all know how well that's gonna work out for him.
Dustin's too busy taking notes on your draft to make a reaction video about it tomorrow.
He'll have a reaction video out by 7:30 tonight. I'm sure that's going to happen. All right, so
Rock-
we're about underway here.
We got-
Yes.
Look at this. All right, let's see.
Are you
Where
pausing
are
this,
you in
Steve,
this,
or are you
Neo?
letting it
Neo,
rip
you're
it?
late in the draft. You're number 11 here. How do you feel about
Yeah.
that?
I don't like it. I think that there's a clear 8, and I really don't feel great being 11.
Yeah.
Where does it allow me to pause it, Neo?
Right here, see where it says players, pick history,
Or it says
player,
what?
pick history or rules here in the middle.
Uh-huh.
You should have something that says league manager or something like that.
Oh yeah, I do.
And then in the top right corner
I
of
got
that,
it. Yeah, I got it paused. All right, so we got it paused to make sure everybody is here in time.
Everyone's in.
Is everyone in?
I show
I'm gonna
everybody
go over
online.
to my draft screen. Okay.
So we got sports cards lessons in the 1 slot, Chris Sewell in the 2 slot, Steve in the 3, Dustin in the 4, who's Max Power?
That's
Is that
cards
Rob?
and comics. That's cards and comics.
Oh, that's Jason Cards and Comics. We got Sitting Ducks, Jay in the
That's
6th.
Jay.
We got Roth in the 7th with the Sheeshers. Ziggy in the 8th, Jeff in 9th, Hambone in 10th, me in 11th, and Filmington. I didn't realize he knew what football was in the 12th slot.
All right.
Wow.
So it's showing
here. That's new. That's great.
it's showing Roth and Ziggy as being grayed out. So I don't know if they're actually here. It keeps
Roth.
showing Roth going in and out over here.
He's joining and leaving. That probably means he's just switching in and out of the app on his phone or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my guess too.
So he's
Ziggy's
probably
actually
around.
breaking right now on Fanatics Live, so I think he'll probably be in and out too.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on this then. Everybody should be here. So we're
we should be good to
resuming.
go. Yeah, I can't even put players in my queue because everyone in the world will see them. I'm at a major disadvantage here.
Nobody wants any of your players anyway.
Yeah, Filmington's going to take Otani at pick 12. Or Soto.
I don't like pick 3. I wish I could have traded down.
He's
I
definitely
tried
going
trading
Dylan
you.
Cruz. Filmington's definitely going Dylan Cruz.
Oh, Dynasty League pick. Filmington catching all kind of heat.
All right. Picks are flying. McCaffrey 1, Robinson 2, Brees Hall 3.
Man, it went running back heavy.
People must not realize this is full PPR.
Nah, as long as you got running backs that catch the ball. You can get a wide receiver 2 and a running back all in one.
CD Lamb still on the board here. I think most people would expect him off by now.
Is
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is the first receiver to go. That's a little bit of a surprise.
And
Is
who was
Roth
that?
is Roth going to take Jaden Daniels or Terry McLaurin and Brian Robinson?
I told him I was going to save Scary Terry for him.
I know he's going to be sad. Sam Howell can't even help him anymore. We got Mahomes off the board. All right, we are
Whoa.
into very untraditional draft territory right here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
And the Sun got it, pick 6.
who picked Mahomes. Oh, okay.
Max Power.
I mean, Amon Ra is a good pick. A quarterback in the first round is different.
Wow, Roth gets a gift here with CD. If he
Yeah,
so
no
chooses.
kidding.
Yeah, right.
CD, like third or
Yeah, he
fourth
counts
pick
on
overall.
that.
There he goes. There he goes.
That's a gift because he's going to get a good running back to pair with him now. I'm not going to get a good receiver make it back to me like that.
All right, where are we at? This is Ziggy.
Yeah, did Roth like trade vlog footage time for that for
Seriously.
CD to fall?
I mean, I get like the top 3 running backs going over Lamb, but man, I guess that would cause him to push back though.
Ziggy on the clock while standing in Fanatics headquarters.
Well, I'm going to be happy with either. I guess it's going to auto draft for him. I'm going to be happy with either Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson at 9. I'll be happy with either of those. So
Jamar Chase at 9. That's
I don't know what to do with that.
Lord,
Chase
that's
scared me a little bit
crazy.
this year.
who?
Jamar Chase.
Just because of the contract issues,
Yeah, he still hasn't practiced yet. He's still in street clothes today.
right?
I don't like when guys sit out the entire preseason. It always makes me nervous for like random hamstring pulls.
Yep.
It happens. It's a proven thing. That's a proven thing.
Well, Jeff gets a gift.
There we go.
You and Roth are living right.
Thank you.
Well, actually, I mean that is the top 8. That's usually the 8 that go in order, so that's not too surprising.
Just to shift around to the order a little bit. Taylor at 9, second running back off the board. No, third running back.
I had AJ Brown
I
last
forgot
year.
Brees Hall went.
I had AJ Brown last year.
Well, I'm having him this year. All right. Filmington on the clock for Aaron Judge and Juan Soto.
Puka Nacua jumping up there at the end of the first round.
No, he'll probably be in the back end of the first, early second. He went, right? Did he go?
Yeah.
Bruh.
Jahmyr Gibbs. That's a good pick at the turn, that 11-12 tandem.
I don't feel great about this, but I don't have him anywhere yet. This is my last draft, so
Who's that?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. Did you go run a receiver?
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, it's about back to me. I would prefer Saquon stay on for me, but that might not happen. We'll see where Hambino goes here. I'm hoping he goes down the draft board a little bit. Oh, and he did. Who did he take? Kyron Williams. What?
Rams punt returner.
What is that? All right, I'll take Saquon. Thank you very much. I got to say, guys, right now I feel pretty good about defending my title here based on how this draft is going.
Right? I want to see who he's going to get to pair with CeeDee Lamb there as far as Lamb fell.
Yeah,
Usually
that could be a problem, really.
Usually you don't get a good running back when you're picking out of the top 4 if you take a receiver.
Yeah, he might have, let's see, maybe ETN will still be on the board when it gets back around there.
Oh, he took your boy Drake London.
I think Drake London's going to have a good year ahead of him. I don't know if I quite would have taken him there over like Marvin Harrison Jr., but he'll have a good year. He'll have a good year. Now, Neo, you're a Browns guy, right?
Yeah.
How are your boys going to be this year?
Probably not very good because we have Deshaun Watson as a starting quarterback.
You guys kept 4 quarterbacks on the roster. Did I read that?
They ended up getting rid of Tyler Huntley. He went back to the Ravens.
Oh, okay.
Who's on the board?
That felt like a move of being not very confident in your starting quarterback.
Yeah, they shouldn't be when you have Watson and Chubb's out for probably close to half the season. Their defense should still be good. I just have no faith in in Watson at all.
Oh, I'm on the clock.
So the president of the Browns was at the National. He came up and introduced himself to me during the National.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's wandering around. He's a card collector. He had a kid who was he has a kid who's a collector who was like in our Card Kids trade zone area all day doing trades with like my son and other kids. And so he came up at the end to introduce himself.
All right, I took a rookie receiver here.
Who'd you take, Steve? Oh, you got Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
That's a good pick. I mean, they're going to be behind. They're going to be behind a lot. Kyler's going to have to throw that ball quite a bit, I think, and obviously a lot of those passes are going to go to Harrison. Josh Allen off the board, second quarterback taken.
Ooh, quarterback. Don't start the quarterback run yet, boys. Mhm. Well, it's back to me.
Yep. Travis Kelsey. Taylor Swift goes to the second pick in the third round.
First tight end taken. So you might have a quarterback run and a tight end run about to happen here.
Man, I got a lot of choices. I didn't think I was going to be able to have. Now this is tough. Look at these RBs falling back, like Etienne and
Yeah, he's
H-Man.
been on the board for a long time. Yeah, I had him as a second round projection, and he's sitting here. Where are we? We're pretty deep in the third.
Like Mike Evans and Nico are there too, though. And this is tough now. Let's see what's chat saying. Let's see.
People were shocked by Mahomes' first round pick.
I'm shocked by the choices that I have here. I mean, I guess it's not a bad thing, but I don't know what
You're using up
I
this
want to go with.
clock, Steve, in the
Yeah,
third round.
looks
My
like
goodness.
it.
Oh, now
There you
that's beeping at you.
I think that was the pick. I think it's a good one, Steve. Steve, you were on quite an extended vacation there.
Oh yeah, and it was even better because my flight was delayed, and so British Airways paid for us to have a couple nights in London on the way back. So that was pretty cool.
That's not a bad deal.
But yeah, I was in Central Europe all the second half of last month, just traveling the train across, staying in different cities.
Are you going to build a trophy this year with the Jim Everett Panini one?
The Jim Everett
slab
Panini one slab. That was brutal. I don't even think I unpacked that card yet.
I can't believe you ripped Panini one.
Well, look, I don't ever buy wax, so I was like, well, I guess. And I was in Budapest and in a card shop in Hungary, which I didn't even think I was going to be able to find. So it was like, what product do you have? And he gave it to me like before it dropped. So I don't want, I don't think I'd get him in trouble or anything. But anyway, he got it from the back. He was like, this is new, but I'm not allowed to put it out on the shelf yet. He was like, but if you want to buy it, of course. But like, I thought I would at least get a solid player. I didn't expect to get my money back. You never buy wax expecting to get your money back. You just hope that you get a card that you can do something with, at least like yourself. And like, I saw the Rams and I originally thought, that it was a decent Ram or somebody like a rookie, like a Stetson Bennett, or not Stetson Bennett. Is that the rookie that's on the Rams? I can't remember. Or is that the one that's on the Saints?
I think Bennett's on the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought maybe it was something like that. It ended up being a Jim Everett. And I'm like, what? How's he even make the checklist for Panini one? That's like crazy.
Yeah, it's a little surprising.
You got Panini hard on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a rough opening of Panini one to get a Jim Everett card. That's not.
Yeah, it's like a $500 box and get like a $20 card or $15 card out of it.
Yeah, it's a little rough. That's a little rough.
Yeah. Oh, I need to solidify my receiver room now. Gosh, I'm Marvin Harrison Jr.
All right, one pick till me.
Pretty late for Nico Collins.
Yeah, it was late for a lot of players.
Looking at Cooper Kupp, and I'm looking at Achane with my next pick here.
I know I wanted to get Achane, but I'm like, how can I take him when some of the running backs that were still on the board were there? And I'm a Miami fan.
Well, that's your boy, isn't it?
Yeah. But ESPN rankings have him a lot lower than some of the other sites that I've been drafting on. They have him below. Like, he's ranked above all these people above him on ESPN.
All right, I'm going to go Kupp. So I got Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp as my 2 wide receivers. I feel pretty good about that. Hopefully Cooper Kupp returns to his form from a couple years ago.
Who's on the board? Phil?
I am.
Oh, you are? Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Yeah. What's up in the chat? Steve Splenda, what's up? Let's see. Bronson. Jordan, what's going on, man? Hello from the rising sun, Japan. What time is it in Japan right now? Is it 7 in the morning?
Yeah, I think you got a 12-hour difference. I think it is.
Yeah, I was 6. It was 6 hours difference where I was at, which was surprising.
It's a good value pick, Neo.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about him this year, but I think this late it's worth a flyer.
Yeah, you got to do
Oh,
it.
you took Achane?
Yeah, I didn't have any running back shit. I was torn between him and possibly a different position.
How do you get Achane in the back of the third, man?
Wilmington's on the
That's
clock.
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty low to take him. So I think that's pretty good value.
If I
Yeah,
thought
I almost
yeah.
took Josh Jacobs, so that
If I thought these solid running backs were going to fall this late, I would have taken a receiver in the first round.
There goes Hurts.
Take them QBs.
Wilmington's slightly
Save me position players. I need them. I need a receiver. Save me a receiver, please. Take the quarterbacks now.
I refuse to draft Anthony Richardson. I will not do that.
Oh, well, good. I might. He took your stack. That's what he said. Refused to give you your stack, Neo. Were you going to take Hurts for the stack here?
I was debating between Hurts or Josh. I was debating between all three of those players that just went. Wilmington kind of. I figured I would get one of them back through, but
You took your stack.
Big time. He's probably drafting from his storage unit of wax, making repacks. What do I want to do here?
Did anybody get the Kelsey Mahomes stack? Or I don't know if the same person that drafted Mahomes took Kelsey or not. Pick history. Trade Keon and Waddle.
Finish off running back and take him with Walker.
Keon who for Amon-Ra? Bronson saying trade Keon and Waddle for Amon-Ra, or he's questioning if that's like Keon, the rookie on the Bills, and Jalen Waddle, and you're getting Amon-Ra, of course.
Wilmington tilted me.
Who'd you take? Kenneth Walker?
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but I don't really like my Etienne pick. I haven't drafted him, and I have 0 shares of him until today. He's usually not on the board when he gets to me in the third, though. So maybe that's
he was
why.
pretty good. He was pretty good last year.
He wasn't very efficient down the stretch, though. Diggs, Stephon Diggs, Ham. Remember Ham was talking in at the National about how he was going to draft Rachaad White in like the second round or something. Oh, he did. He did draft Rachaad White. Did he draft him in the second round?
He did. He drafted him in the third round.
Third. That's a homer pick.
All right, I grabbed James Cook there. All right, guys, I got to go grab my son from tutoring here. So,
all right, Jeff.
All right, Jeff.
Draft on the go, but good luck to you guys.
Just
All
let
right,
him
man.
drive. It'll be fine.
And thanks for organizing it again, Steve. Appreciate it.
No. Thanks for joining, and I'm coming to get the title that should have been mine last year. So
Coming back next April to drop off my
bring it
second.
home.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, I'll be back. All right. See ya.
Later, Jeff.
Anybody else want to stop in on the live stream? A receiver might make it back to me. Come on with it.
Where's Hambone at? I'm a little disappointed.
I don't know. Where is he at? He was eating
Xbox.
some wings. What's he doing? Eating a whole chicken house?
X-Pac showing us up.
Come on, 6-Pac. The 1, 2, 3 ham. Ziggy's on the clock. Has he been auto picking everything?
I think he's been in and out.
Then what? It's Roth, then Jay, then it's a little bit before he gets back to me. What do these other guys' teams, squads look like? Here's Malik Neighbors.
There's some really good wide receivers out there.
Yeah, there is, surprisingly. Well, the big QBs are gone except for Richardson and Stroud, I guess, are on the board, but running back got thin quick. Because what round are we in?
4. That's why I agree. I'm not in love with Kenneth Walker, but
Man, round 4, and we're round 4, and Ramondre Stevenson is already first available. So yeah, running backs went real quick. Usually you can get your RB2 like in round 7 or 8 and still get one of these guys that are next in line, like a Connor or something like that. Damn, there goes Debo. I wanted Debo. I was hoping he was going to make it all the way back to me in the 4th. Would have been insane. But that's okay because, like, let's see, what am I up? I'm coming up. Any one of the 4 receivers right now that are on the board are like really good picks here late in the 4th. Dustin's up next. I bet you he picks something bad. What's his team look like so far? Lamar Jackson, Alvin Kamara, and Taysom Hill. Oh, no, it's Tyreek Hill. Wouldn't be surprised if it was Taysom Hill.
He has Allen. Of course, he has Allen Kamara.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, he took Kamara. He must have took Kamara really early to have him already. Damn, he took the 2 that I really wanted the most, Waddle and Metcalf, that were sandwiched over Ayuk and Smith, are the ones that went. That's crazy. I like Ayuk, but I don't like the fact that he's missed all of camp.
I hate those guys that miss all the camp. I really do.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to pull some.
You should have set the clock for like 60 seconds instead of a minute 20.
Yeah, I wonder if I can adjust it.
You have to pause it to change it, but it's fine.
I can pause it on my next pick. It's good value for Brandon Ayuk, but I'm not a big Brandon Ayuk person. He usually goes to the back end of the 3rd, so I got him to back end of the 4th.
He was good last year.
Yeah, I had him. Actually, I think I had him in this same league last year, and he actually worked out for me. And I didn't have much confidence in him. He was like a later pick for me.
The Riddler.
I like that Trey McBride pick. I would have taken him in the 4th, but I have Marvin Harrison, and I didn't want to have both of them.
This is my last draft of the year.
Damn, Devontae Smith is still on the board. I'm going to pull a player up the board early. Just because I want him, he won't make it back to me. Had to overdraft him by probably about 8 or 9 positions because there's no way he's making it back to me in the back end of the 6th.
Yeah, they Relics, they got Ayuk signed up.
Yep. He got a pretty big contract.
Yeah, he got a nice chunk of money for sure.
Yeah, guys, I like Ayuk, like Bushliggers and Relics and stuff. It's just when someone misses all of training camp, they either typically have a slow start or I don't know, maybe he'll be good to go right out the gate, but you know, where to get him.
Little tight end around there.
Yeah, that's why I knew I had to take Kincaid because the tight ends were about to go in round 5, and there's no way he would have made it back to me. And I liked him better than the 3 players they had ahead of him on the tight end board. How is Calvin Ridley going before Devontae Smith? That is a good question. I guess because Calvin Ridley was drafted first. But I don't know. I don't know what some of the thinking is on some of these. I know CeeDee Lamb fell to pick, was that 7?
Yeah.
Pick 7. Makes you be like, man, I wish I was picking in like 6 or 7 because you get that. Usually you sacrifice a big stud at 7 for a solid second-round pick, and you're able to get a monster player at pick 7 and still get that really good second-round pick. That's There's so many targets available in Buffalo. I just like Kincaid. They're going to move him all over the formations. They're going to play him more like a slot receiver and things like that. He's athletic. And Josh Allen's a good quarterback. But Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs are gone. I know they brought in wide receivers, but still, that opens up a lot of targets. And Kincaid was there last year. These other guys weren't.
Wow. Javonte Williams and Jerome Ford in the 5th.
Who did? What? Jerome Ford? Yeah, that's
and
pretty
Javonte
early.
Williams in the 5th.
Yeah. I think Jerome Ford went off the board in round 9 or 10 in my draft I did yesterday, and Williams was like 7 or 8. But running back is thin right now.
Jeff got Devontae Smith. That was a steal.
He was still on the board. I mean, I took a tight end. I was looking
Yeah.
at Devontae Smith, but he would have been my flex at the moment. So it's kind of like Rashee Rice was a good pick. That was the other player that I was eyeing up on that Kincaid round. There's still a lot of picks ahead of me, man. It's moving slow. Tank Dell. So the other day I was doing a draft and Tank Dell was on the board, and that's who I wanted. The thing was, it wasn't my pick. And some people were at this draft live and some people were doing it online. And this draft was set up that you actually walk up to a tablet and enter your pick, and it puts it up on a big screen. It's a pretty nice system at this one draft I was at. And so I walk up there and enter Tank Dell, not realizing that it wasn't my pick yet. It was a pick for somebody that wasn't there. And so they paused the draft. They removed my pick. And then the guy who was supposed to pick, like a minute later, finally picks, and he picks Tank Dell. Now, Rice isn't going to face anything this year, Bushliggers. They haven't even set any kind of court dates or anything. By the time they get around to that, he'll probably face his suspension next year.
Yeah, he's fine all year. He'll be in trouble next year, but yeah, for this year, he's fine.
That's why he's jumped in ADP from like he was being around 7 or 8 pick because people were scared of that to now they know that if he hasn't faced anything yet, he's going to play. I've seen him drafted as high as the 3rd round now. But 3 weeks ago, you could have gotten he's the biggest ADP mover across the board of all players. If you were looking at average draft positions 3 weeks ago and you're looking at him now, Rashee Rice has moved up the most. So people who had early drafts, some people got Rashee Rice at like a super bargain. Here goes QB. Q Biscuit. As long as Jacoby Brissett's on the board, baby, I got my quarterback.
Huh.
I'm going for that bargain discount.
Wanted to pair him up with Tank Dell.
Yeah. I mean, I could pair. I don't mind either one of the guys that would pair with my receivers, Harrison or Ayuk. I don't mind Murray or Purdy. Honestly, they're both feasible in fantasy. They're both serviceable. They might not have as much upside as some of these rushing quarterbacks, but if I get a quarterback that can give me 18 points a game, then I'm good with having stacked running backs. Because what the best quarterback last year averaged, 24, 25, 26 tops points per game. That was Josh Allen. He was the only one, which means everybody, the next best quarterbacks were averaging like between 20 and 22. So when you're looking at the second tier of quarterbacks averaging, like 18 and your top tier averaging 20 to 22, there's not a whole lot of difference. Now, it was an off year for quarterbacks. With that being said, there goes Kyler. What are you doing, Jeff?
Before Anthony Richardson. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, you know what you get with Kyler if he's healthy. Roth got that good start with CeeDee Lamb at 7. But I wouldn't have taken London at 12. I'd have tried to land one of them second-round running backs. Because look at how some of these receivers fell. Like there was still deep. Like he could have had Deebo Samuel in the 3rd instead of like Drake London in the 2nd. Like I get that London can be great, but it could be good. But like the value there, instead of taking like a Barkley or something in 2nd round.
You still have any Kyler Murray cards, or did you get rid of them all?
Well, I got rid of them all. Evan Ingram.
I didn't know if maybe you kept one for like just in case.
Nah, I did. I originally sold them all and got my money back plus $450. So I was up.
Do you have any quarterbacks that you're holding into the season, or are you?
Yeah. I have some Justin Fields stuff. Just some kind of like pinned under the. I was pinned under the Russell Wilson signing and stuff, but that's okay because if he ends up winning the starting job, or if Russell Wilson struggles, because they're really not sold on either one of those guys, so it is what it is. All right, both of these guys have quarterbacks, which means a quarterback should fall to me now. He still needs a. Okay, he just took his running back. He just took DeAndre Swift and his Raheem Mostart. All right, what round are we in? Round 6. I'm taking Anthony Richardson now. I have to.
I just don't think he can stay healthy.
That's okay. I'll draft it. In the late round. I did this in a draft yesterday. Richardson fell to me, so I like his upside. He could potentially be QB1. You don't have to be a good NFL player to be a good fantasy quarterback. You know what I mean? How many times Justin Fields was like QB1 or 2 like 2 seasons ago, but he wasn't a very good NFL player. So Mike Vick did it for years. But I'll draft somebody later, like in the 10th or 11th round, that'll be a serviceable quarterback in case Richardson fails. There'll be somebody like a Purdy or a Kirk Cousins or something left over at the end for the scraps. It'll be a contingency plan. Oh, I know who I want if he falls back to me now. Relic says your content has been awesome lately. Who just went? Who just got drafted? Oh, yes. Give me this. Give me Chris Godwin for my flex. Let's go. Chris Godwin for my flex.
Thanks, Relic.
All right, I think my
I
starting roster
like him
filled
this
out.
year after he had a pretty bad year last year.
Who's that?
Godwin, like he had like a down year last year, and now no one cares about him.
I mean, it's baked into his draft position. You know what I mean? His down year, that's why he's going as like a wide receiver 3 and not a fringe, not up there with Evans. He wasn't moved into the slot much last year either. They'll move him around in the slot this year. That's where he's good at. He's my flex. I'm not looking for Najee Harris. That's a decent pick in the 8th round. Arthur Smith there now. So Dustin's got Lamar Jackson, Alvin Kamara, Raheem Mostart, Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, Mark Andrews. So he got the Andrews Jackson double skizoo. His running backs are beat, though. He took Kamara too early.
Yeah, Mostert isn't even full time. He's just
Yeah,
goal line work.
Mostart was really good last year because he had 20 plus touchdowns.
He had like 20 touchdowns.
Like,
I don't know if I see him
Yeah.
repeating that.
There's touchdown regression. You can never bake.
Plus, he gets hurt a
touchdowns.
ton too.
It's just he's going to get less work. I mean, he's still going to be the main ball carrier, but he's going to get less work. I look for them to ramp up Achane's touches from about 8 to 10 to probably closer to 12 to 15, which means that'll probably be 4 touches per game that Mostart loses. And they'll work in the rookie a little bit. He'll probably get 4 or 5 touches a game. And Achane has all the receiving upside out of that backfield. David Montgomery in the 7th, that would be pretty strong. Because I know people are super high on Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs going in the 1st round this year. Remember when I drafted him last year and Dustin was making fun of me? He was like, who is that guy? I've never even heard of him.
Yeah.
He carried my backfield because Nick Chubb was my 1st round pick last year. Nick Chubb was my 1st round pick last year, and I still made it to the Super Bowl.
Dak attack, huh?
Cardboard Collaborative. I am pretty strong on Kyler also. Top 5 might be a little rich because, I mean, even if he plays really good, you got to look for some of the other guys to falter. You got to look for Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Lamar. You know, you got to look for those guys to falter. Like Kyler could play his best season of his career and still not outplay those guys. But I like him as a starter. I wanted him because I wanted to pair him with Marvin Harrison so I could have my double scoop, but Jeff took him. So I do agree that should be due for a strong fantasy season. But top 5, man, I don't know. It's a bold prediction.
It's killing me.
Was he sniping all your players?
Yeah, I wanted Jaden Reed. Great minds must think alike.
Huh. Is that what you guys call yourselves? Great minds. So nobody else made the live stream, man. It's crazy. Where's your team? Are you drafting bench now, huh? I guess I will be on my next time around too.
I mean, everybody basically should be unless they went really crazy.
Oh, McLaurin got picked by Ziggy. I was talking to Roth and on Instagram earlier, and I was like, dude, I'll save you, Scary Terry. All right. I know you I don't like Marvin Harrison Jr. as my wide receiver 1. Oh, rookie. I think he's going to be good, but I mean, it's going to be wide receiver 1 fantasy, wide receiver 1 good. I got to start throwing darts at some upside players now. Ooh, I'm damaged by bye weeks in week 12. Hall, Etienne, and Kincaid. I already have playoff spot locked up by week 12, though. I'll be like 11-1 or like 10-1 going into week 12. Cortland Sutton. Man,
Zamir White's been at the top of that list for about an hour.
I was going to say, like, he really fell in this draft. I'm not big on him, but I see him. I guess people just draft based on volume. They think he's going to get a lot of volume, but I don't think he's going to catch many passes. Would you rather have the wide receiver 1 on a bad offense or the wide receiver 2 on a good offense? You know, saying that the wide receiver 2 is still a decent player. So when I say wide receiver 2 on a good offense, that's like a Devontae Smith, a T. Higgins, a Jalen Waddle. They're all the number 2s respectively on their team, but they're on good offenses and they're decent players. Or would you rather have like a Deontay Johnson, who's a solid player and he's the number 1?
Yeah, but Deontay Johnson is not as good as those guys,
right?
Like just straight up.
I mean, he's like led the league in like targets and like stuff like that.
The leading league in targets.
There.
I mean, anyone can do that if the guy just throws at him a lot.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. But it depends on what team you're on. Like it depends on the accuracy.
I just don't know that's like the best example.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're getting,
I mean, honestly, like Justin Jefferson's team's like he has Sam Darnold as quarterback, and he still goes in the first round. So that's kind of the answer to your question.
But he's super talented. Yeah, but if he had a better quarterback, he would go top 4. He would be right in the conversation with CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill, or probably number 1 overall. The only reason he's falling out of the top 5 to 6 and 7 and things like that is because of his quarterback, not because of him. Right? If Kirk Cousins was still there, there's no way Justin Jefferson makes it out of the top 5.
Yeah, but even with like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league on paper, he still goes in front of any number 2.
Yeah, but see, Jordan Addison isn't even getting any love this year. But last year,
he had legal troubles and he sprained his ankle in the preseason. So That's
But still,
straggling down a little bit.
but we're still probably in round 8, and he's still on the board. Like.
But I don't know that he would be if he wouldn't have gotten carted off in the preseason. He had a little bit of that narrative going at him.
Yeah, running back has been ripped. Rip.
I like Jaylen Warren, but I don't like that he had hamstring injuries already in the preseason.
Right. All right. But say, for instance, okay, Terry McLaurin, the number 1 on the Redskins, versus a Jalen Waddle, who's the number 2 on the Dolphins. Like, you could argue that if Jalen Waddle was the number 1 on the Redskins and McLaurin was the number 2 on the Dolphins, McLaurin would probably be more desirable just because of the situation that he's in.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's like an elite offense, so
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
When you have a number 2 wide receiver in an elite offense, and then you have a number 1 wide receiver in a questionable offense. But some people chase the number 1s just because of volume. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes volume, like if you're getting 100 targets as a number 1 on the Redskins, but you're getting 80 targets as the number 2 on the Dolphins, you're still probably going to have the same efficiency on less targets. Zach Moss. I don't know what to think about that Bengals backfield because Moss was ranked higher, and now the other dude is ranked higher, and I am going to draft and bench Jonathan Brooks and hold him through that injury.
Really for him.
No way, not round 9. He's not a starter. We're drafting our bench right now, so I have a potential.
I know he's out for like half the season.
4 weeks, man.
I don't think he'll be back as soon as he comes off PUP.
They'll probably start working him in round 5, in week 5 or 6, and then, like I'm saying, I'm drafting.
You're not going to start starting him until week 7.
7 or 8, right?
So that's half the season. So that's half the season.
But I have my starters.
I understand that, but I said he's out half the season.
You realize now we're drafting players that have second half of the season upside, like the rookie breakouts and things like that. Rookie breakouts don't happen until like week 7 or 8, but they're usually your league winners. That's what you're supposed to be drafting now, not veterans that you can sit on your bench and hope that they can come off your bench and give you 8 points. Like you're drafting guys that you're hoping break out in the second half of the season to carry you through the stretch. And your starters are the guys that you want to get you through the beginning of the season. Like I have Hall and Etienne. So barring injury and bye weeks, I should be solid at running back. And then I have like a big time upside running back coming off of the injury report down the stretch. He says Moss is the man, and Cincy says K-Man. K-Man's drafting in an hour, pick 5. You in full PPR, who are you hoping to land at 5? So say, for instance, it goes consensus, and you see McCaffrey, Lamb, Hill, and Hall go off the board. So who are you taking at 5? Are you staying consensus with probably like Bijan, or are you going another route there, K-Man? Just hypothetically. You want Hall? So you're hoping he slides. Because I think he's like 4th. I don't know what he is on ESPN. I guess it depends on what platform you're drafting on, because everybody's rankings are a little different. You take Amon at 5 if that's where you're at. So you would be choosing Amon over Bijan. If it was a 3 wide receiver league, that's what I would do. I think in 2 wide receiver leagues, receivers are fairly deep this year to the point to where you can get an elite running back, because there's not many elite running backs. the running backs really fall off quickly. And you can still get guys that'll going to produce for you at receiver in like round 6 and 7. And that's like the running back dead zone. You're like getting guys that you just hope do something. I drafted Brooks and Nick Chubb in my last draft because we have IR spots. So I just drafted them towards the end of the draft to stick in my IR spot. And I have Brooks and Chubb at the end of the season if I need them.
I don't remember.
I think we should.
I don't remember if we do or not.
Does it say how many rounds this is? So it depends on how many bench players we have.
It's 15 rounds. We're halfway through.
15
Or,
rounds. So I would say
halfway through.
so that's 5 bench spots, right? So I would say that we probably have IR spots. I believe we do. I'm pretty sure we do. I don't think I would have set this and not have IR spots. Because I think I drafted Kyler Murray last year and put him on the IR. Well, I didn't mess with the roster settings, so unless ESPN changed it, then we should have them.
They should.
I just
usually auto roll.
Yeah, usually when you renew the league, it. But I went in and made some scoring changes. That's why I told you guys to look at them today.
It didn't look like it was anything significant.
It went from 4 to 6 passing touchdowns. Passing touchdowns went.
That never really
4
mattered
to
much
6.
to me because it's a rising tide lifts all boats. Like
Yeah, it's for everybody, and I play in all kinds of leagues, and some of them have 6, some of them have 4.
It's
so.
probably better to have 6 since you have -2 for interceptions.
Yeah, and I increased the bonuses from 1 point to 3 points because 3 points is typically standard in most leagues, and for some reason it was set on 1 point last year. So 100 yards rushing or 100 yards receiving, you get 3 bonus points. And I had to add in -2 points for fumbles because for some reason we didn't lose points for fumbles last year either. Because it's in a whole nother tab. They don't have it under the same tab as interceptions and passing. Yeah, White Tiger, only 2 of us right now. Like other people got the link. Jeff Wilson was on with us earlier to start the draft. I don't know who else got the link to join. Ham and Dustin or
I sent it to Ham, Dustin, Jeff, Roth, and Filmington.
Ham's killing chickens. And you said Filmington was busy. And Dustin's sleepless in Seattle. We're looking at this board to see who's up and coming up. Who is I'm still a ways away, man. This draft, it's slowed down, hasn't it? I have another draft at 8:30, an auction league. Talk about forever. Oh, I like drafting auction.
I had an auction league Sunday night.
They take so long.
They're way more fun.
Yeah, they're fun because you can spend
We
your
draft
money.
a boatload of players too in that league.
Yeah, Ziggy's sitting on auto pick.
We draft 3 wide receivers. We draft 2 tight ends. We draft an offensive flex, an offensive super flex. So you can do 2 quarterbacks.
Ziggy's got 3 stud receivers, man. He's got Chase and DJ Moore. Then Neighbors in his flex is pretty solid. Pacheco's all right.
Running back here. I don't really like any of these guys.
Man, I loved Nick Pacheco and Isaiah Pacheco, and as soon as they signed Samaje Perine, I was like, man, now there's the guy that's going to cut into his receiving work and things like that. You know, Andy Reid is going to do. There goes.
We got the ham bone.
There goes
chicken wing bone hanging out of his mouth.
I'm drafting.
Is that blue cheese or ranch in your beard?
That's what wouldn't you like to know? Let's see here.
It's that other white stuff.
That's usually a little clearer.
Family show.
Man, it's storming here in Tampa. Like everything's flooded, lightning popping everywhere.
You're in Florida, man. What do you expect?
Yeah, but when it floods out the South Tampa area, that means you're getting hit hard.
There's water everywhere in Tampa, man.
Well, now it's in the street.
I was in St. Pete, when I was down there because we fished, and
We
but
attempted to fish.
but anyway, like there were more bridges than there were regular roads.
Where you were, yes. Having a hard time figuring out what I want to do here.
It's definitely that point.
Oh, you're on the clock. You're on the clock. And right now, you're just kind of like
shooting the shit.
Yeah. You got T. Higgins on your bench.
Benching him, yeah, for now.
Talk trade with me after the draft.
Good luck, buddy.
I got Godwin, man.
I'll just get a veteran. So what y'all been up to? I hadn't really been listening because, like I said, I was stuck at a sports bar and then I was stuck in the rain. So that's kind of where I've been since I got off.
Gabe Davis. What? What the?
How are y'all feeling about your team so far?
I
It's really weird. I just
Eh.
queued a guy that I did not queue.
I don't like drafting out of the back half of the draft this year.
No, it's rough. You're just looking at people like who and no,
I
like, who's
mean,
going to do anything more than one game in their life.
I drafted out the back half of the draft yesterday, and I kind of maybe like that team better than the team that I just drafted here. Now, I don't have a stud running back like a Brees Hall like I have here, but I
Yeah,
have
you gotta get-
Saquon, right? So
Hey, you just got to get doers. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have a team that collectively is consistent, that's more valuable than having the one or two guys that are always
I have
consistent.
two leagues. I have a league where I've drafted out of 9, the spot 9, and I got Garrett Wilson and Saquon in the first 2
Gotcha.
rounds. And then in the draft where I drafted out of 11, I got AJ Brown and Jonathan Taylor. So, you figure if you're drafting somewhere 8 through 11, you're probably getting Puka. You're probably getting Puka, AJ Brown, or Garrett Wilson. One of those receivers. So just look at basically
Well,
if you're playing.
the thing that I usually always get tied up with is bye weeks as well, because I don't want a week where I got 5 guys out and I'm not going to have replacements for them.
Man, there ain't no receivers left on this damn board.
No, you got to look for somebody that's coming in for somebody getting hurt.
Shoot, for real.
I mean, it gets dry really quick in football. It really does. I was in like a 16 team last year. Holy crap! You want to talk about reaching for the stars? You have no idea what you're ending up with. Rob, did you get any of those basketball tops nows for the auto?
Mine hasn't shipped yet.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't got mine
I got
yet.
tracking for it, but it hasn't shipped yet.
Okay.
It hasn't been pulled yet, so I'm still live.
I know I see everybody posting fake, oh, the card's been pulled, and like, it's a redemption, guys. You're going to see a redemption card before you see the real card, live in somebody's hand. Outside the guy that had it at Tops that already posted a picture with it.
Ken's got a solid team. I guess he drafted number 1. I mean, he got McCaffrey and Josh Allen, and
yeah, man, McCaffrey can break at any given point too. He's a high risk.
yeah, but you don't draft. You don't really draft based on
I do.
predicting injuries. You draft based on predicting injuries.
Certain people, yeah. They never play a full season, multiple seasons in a row. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but everybody's. How many more players miss at least 1 game per season than ones that miss nothing?
You're right, but usually the
Like
guys that miss
football.
nothing are your top fantasy players. Let's see here.
I don't know if that's true.
It'd be fun to go play around and look around at it. Oh, I guess I'll pick that guy up.
I'm back on the clock. No,
That
God.
sucks. That's the thing. You got some guys that are probably good players, but they're on bad teams. Brandon Cooks is still in the NFL? Jesus Christ. I feel like I've been hearing about him for 12 years, 13 years.
No, Brendan. What you call it? Dakota is not in this. Yeah, I get that. You're going to say people are, think Hurts are going to steal a lot of TDs from Barkley, but if you look at last year, DeAndre Swift had just as many carries, I believe, inside the 5 as Jalen Hurts did. He just wasn't successful with them. That's one stat that a lot of people don't look at. How many goal line carries or how many inside the 5 carries did DeAndre Swift have last year? And it was very close to the same amount as Jalen Hurts. He just wasn't successful. That's why Hurts had to push him in. I believe Barkley would be a lot more of an efficient runner. He'll get a lot of those touchdowns from the 3-yard line that DeAndre Swift was getting stuffed on.
Yeah.
You if you run the ball from the 3 and get stuffed, I'm going to go ahead and take. If you run it from the 3 and pick up a yard or two and get no further, they're going to push it in with Hurts. If Barkley's running it from the 3, I think he's going
Yeah,
to.
a lot of the teams just play the quarterback option too, so the quarterback really keeps it.
We'll see how much they use that shove play this year, also with Jason Kelsey and stuff being gone. They'll probably still attempt it. I'm not going to say, but I don't know if the success rate will be as high. And it could be. It could even be better. Who knows? But
Steve, how do you feel about your team this year?
This one?
No, your new NFL team that you have acquired.
The Chiefs?
Yeah, the Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs are probably Super Bowl favorites.
You think so? I think the team's starting to just look a little flat, players
What are you
wise.
talking about? I think they had.
I guess they only need 2 players. You're right.
I was going to say, if you were going to say that they looked flat, that would have been last year because their offense was flat. Mahomes had the worst.
But what did they add to the team?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Well, she was already there last year.
They added Xavier Worthy from the draft. They added Marquise Hollywood Brown. They have Rashee Rice coming into his 2nd season.
They got rid of Kadarius
That's
Toney.
why I picked Rice up.
Huh?
I said they got rid of Kadarius Toney. That's addition by subtraction.
He shouldn't play football in the NFL ever again.
He sucks.
Who Kadarius Toney?
Yeah.
It's like his hands are broken or something. Let me see what I got here roster wise. Oh, I need 2 of the most important spots in the league, actually.
Yeah. So my bench receivers are Brian Thomas Jr. and Jordan Palmer, man. So I'm going to need him to either Palmer to be the guy for the Chargers. I like Thomas Jr.'s upside, though, with Jacksonville. He's looked good in the preseason. He was good in college. And Trevor Lawrence wants to throw the ball down the field, and Christian Kirk is not the guy to go downfield. And Gabe Davis can only run one route.
Gabe Davis sucks.
I know, like, people are, like, big on Gabe
He's had
Davis.
so many chances to grab that, like, job and run with it.
That's what I mean. They're like, Gabe Davis, oh, he's on Jacksonville now. He's going to be better. I'm like, you think going to Trevor Lawrence is an improvement over going to – over playing with Josh Allen? Gabe Davis always was on the verge of, like, breaking out and being a star and just never kind of got over the hump. He was too inconsistent. But, like, the playoff games, like the big shootout with the Chiefs and things like that, like, he was a monster. But never I don't know. Bills didn't re-sign him for a reason. I don't know how many Swift had from the 1, but I'm talking inside the 5. Most of the time, the Eagles were down on the 1-yard line because Swift wasn't getting in from, like, the 3. Right? How many times does a team end up on the 1-yard line just by chance? Usually they get down in the red zone. They do a couple runs, and then they don't get in, and then the quarterback sneak it in. There's 3-yard touchdowns that Swift wasn't converting. That ended up becoming Hurts 1-yard touchdowns. I believe Barkley will have a better chance of converting a higher percent. Not all of them. Hurts is still going to have quarterback sneak touchdown runs. I get that.
Yeah.
But
what round are we in?
11.
is it?
All right. It's time. There you go, boys.
The butt kicker, huh?
Oh, yeah. Let the run begin. I mean, if you really think about it right now, the highest point scoring
I don't know.
on the board are kickers.
If you think Jalen Hurts is going to get all the rushing touchdowns for the Eagles, and don't draft Saquon Barkley. Nobody's telling anybody to draft Saquon Barkley.
I think Saquon's going to take weight off of Hurts.
It doesn't matter. People are set in the way that they want to think. They see what happened. They see what happens one year to the next, and that's what happened last year. It's going to happen again this year.
Yeah,
they don't realize that Jalen Hurts ended the league ended the season last year with a bad knee and a bad ankle because they were quarterback sneaking him too much. That's why AJ Brown's production fell off the second half of the season because Hurts couldn't move in the pocket. So, but that's okay. It's all in the stats at the end of the day.
Obviously injuries always play a big part of seasons. But I think this year, we're going to get a lot more diversity in the league than we've had in the past. And I think it'll be more fun, honestly. I think just this season moving forward should be a little more dynamic based on more of what we've been used to. You have these quarterbacks who we've watched over the last few years. They're starting to hit that level that they should start to either get it or not get it. Like they're either going to end up continually being a starter or they're not going to end up probably being on the same team a year to 2 years from now.
Are you talking about quarterbacks?
Yeah, especially quarterbacks. We've had so many quarterbacks in the last, 5 years, if you want to go back all the way to 2017 type deal. It just the quality of quarterbacks that we've had come out in the time frame has been quite incredible, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, but this just goes to like I don't think what. All right.
Oh, Steve's in trouble. Too much computer time.
No, they're leaving. They were just telling me they were leaving.
You gotta get off the internet.
Hey Neil, what do you think of the Browns' defense?
They should be pretty good if Deshaun Watson can keep the offense on the field for.
If Deshaun Watson,
Randy Watson.
I
like that rating.
Chocolate.
I did get my top composite boxes in today, finally. So I'll be doing a video for that.
I got mine on Saturday.
What do you like about the Ravens, D, man?
They have a fantastic offense, and that means other people have to change the way they play offense to keep up with the other team. And that usually does not bode very likely for most teams, so they usually end up with a good defense due to that. A lot more interceptions possibility for touchdowns, sacks, stuff like that. Usually what you get in return for defense. Because if you're going to play a team that's going to run the ball, because the game's always close, the defense has a harder time to shine. They're just stuffing the run. And the defenses don't get no love for that unless the points change.
But I'm saying the Ravens play a slow-paced offense, somewhat. So your defense isn't going to get you many statistics, right? They're going to get you.
Well, they do.
They might give up limited points, but
they're very consistent.
I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't know.
It's just consistency more than anything.
Because I think of the great Ravens defenses of the past, and I just feel like.
Nobody has defenses like that.
I feel like because their defenses have always been good in the past, that people still look at them as being a top
like the
defense,
Bears,
but really not.
Bears are the same way. People are always like, "Oh, they got a good linebacker, great defense."
Yeah.
Say it's one guy. Steve, have you been looking at any investment cards for the season? I know you sometimes do stuff on the backside, and then.
No, I have some, so I don't really need to pick up any more. I'm still on the Justin. I still have a couple Justin Fields cards, so it's kind of like I have my one player that if something happens in his situation could help me. But there was nobody really to go out and get, and like if I'm buying, especially if I'm trying to go after cards of last year's draft class, like what am I going to go buy? Topps Chrome? Like I don't know.
Well, that's just so very specific. At that point, you're just playing like you.
Now, when you say that, I do
and stuff like that.
I do have a couple cards. I have a couple, maybe two. I had like maybe two decent Anthony Richardson cards. I have a nice case hit. I have a nice case hit of C.J. Stroud, but just one. It's not like I am loaded up with C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson. I have a couple cards here and there.
Yeah,
but I probably have 6 or 7 decent Justin Fields cards.
Gotcha.
What position are we drafting for now, boys? Running back is thin. Wide receiver is then I'm up next, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fill out my defense and kicker. I like to get a set it. A lot of people like to stream defenses, but that ends up creating you holding multiple defenses on your roster or trying to pick up, and if you have like 4 or 5 people, like last year, who's playing against the Jets next week, right? So you got 4 or 5 people racing to the waiver wire, if the team's even available on waivers, to pick up who was playing the Jets and Zach Wilson, that you end up spending your waiver priorities on defenses or in multiple roster spots on defenses every year. I just want to set it.
The only position I've ever been able to really cycle through a guy week to week for the most part would be tight end. You can play matchup really well with tight end, and you don't have to have a premier guy, just based on how people leave specific guys open in the middle of the field consistently.
I like Dallas's pass rush, but their secondary is beat up right now.
Yeah, that was why I didn't go with Dallas.
I'm just going to take the Browns.
Dak on here, and I already got enough guys that are already going to be out 2 different weeks. Trying to dodge that a little bit.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, you just need the defense and kicker if you get solid ones for. I'd rather stream kicker than defense, but.
Oh, 100%. You can do kicker and I guess tight end, kicker probably 2 the easiest. Defense, like you said, you start playing too much of a game and you get in your head and you're just holding an extra spot for something. Honestly, you could just pick a different team up based on matchup and probably still do the same, if not better.
With kickers, sometimes I'll go to the waiver wire and grab a kicker the day of the games, like Sunday.
Yep. That, and I would always target guys that obviously kick in domes where the weather is not a factor.
Mm-hmm. Now, some kickers can actually be pretty consistent, but then sometimes you'll have a kicker that's not that good, but they will go out and have 5 field goals in a game. Like Miami's kicker, he's a good kicker, but they don't kick a lot of field goals. But they did have the one game against Dallas where he kicked 5 or 6 field goals in that game. It was a monster fantasy game because they couldn't get the ball in the end zone. Jordan Love. I got no love ya. I got no love for Jordan Love. Deshaun Watson still on the board. Neo.
I'm good.
He said I'm good.
Hey, Baker's there too. What are you laughing at, Mike?
I already have a quarterback, but I may get another one.
Yeah, Tua's still there. Somebody drafted Kirk Cousins. Or did people draft backup quarterbacks or something?
I guess.
They must have.
Somebody auto pick.
Mm-hmm. Trey Benson, Bucky Irvin.
Let's see here.
It's probably your boy, isn't it, Ham?
Yeah, Bucky. Yeah, we got to see how he does. I mean, he's not going to get a ton of touches with White there, so that, and he's real raw. I mean, they training camp, and you see he's raw.
Be boring. Take a kicker. So, you think Rachaad White going to get all the touches this year?
He always does.
Yeah, but that's because they didn't have any other options.
No, it's because they throw the ball to the backfield a lot. They check down a ton. Baker loves checking down.
Terrible.
Well, but his running is terrible, but his catching out of the backfield, I mean, I had him on my team last year, and it's basically like 15 to 20 points a game. And if I can get a guy that's that consistent because he catches the ball a lot, I'm in.
Yeah, but...
And I see it firsthand. Plus, I'm a Bucs fan. I want to have at least 1 or 2 guys on my team.
I feel like there has to come a time, though, when your coach gets tired of poor efficiency.
I mean, since Brady's left, this is our best team that we've had.
Maybe it could be offensive line. Maybe.
Our first round pick that we picked up is our starting center now. He moved right in. He's been knocking people around pretty hard. So I mean, that guy's in and he's got it, and that's potentially center 10 to 15 year guy if he's that good. And then we already have Wirfs signed, so I mean we're really solidifying our offensive line here.
All right, we're in no man's land here for picks now.
Do you have a roulette wheel for players? And we just spin it and you get one.
I mean, I know which player I want to take next, I believe. But it doesn't really matter. If somebody else takes them, it doesn't. I'll just take the next bum on the list.
That's where we're at now. We're on the bum list.
Alexander Madison was like a 3rd or 4th round pick last year, and now he's not even getting drafted.
Yep. Isn't that
He's
crazy?
fallen. Yeah, he's fallen worse than Austin Eckler has. What killed me was taking Marvin Harrison because that handcuffed me to not being able to take the other Cardinals. Like, I like the other Cardinals better. Like, I like McBride better for the value, and I like Connor as RB2 better for where I can draft him at.
Mm-hmm.
But taking Harrison, I don't have so much confidence in the Arizona offense that I want to have 2 starters unless they're the quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't mind Kyler and McBride or Kyler and Harrison, but like, I don't want McBride and Connor or Connor and Harrison or McBride and Harrison, you know? I mean, that's cool for some teams like Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce, or, you know, the Dolphins running backs and Tyreek and Jalen, but I don't think their offense is going to be good enough yet to support all those guys.
Damn. It's just the thing. I start looking at guys I want and I already got like 3 guys on the same bye week.
Them bye weeks, Ham. You got a player I want. You don't have a tight end yet?
No, I'm gonna draft one here. Again,
You
that's a guy
drafted-
I can cycle a guy in and out, so it's not like I have to have one.
Oh, I know, but streaming tight end sucks.
I'd rather do that than defenses. If Taysom Hill's at tight end and he throws a touchdown, do I get that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until the commissioner says no. So it depends on who you're playing that week.
It matters what it doesn't matter. The tight end had 291 yards last year. I mean, I think I had 291 yards last year too. Let's see here. They don't really use the tight ends much anymore.
I guess Dalton Schultz is still on the board, and he was decent last year, but they have an extra receiver now, and they had injuries last year. I mean, everybody will have injuries, but like last year, I don't think they ever had, not for long periods of time, did they have Tank Dell or Nico together.
Correct.
And now
So they were relying on him a little more last year.
Yeah.
They had no choice. Where's this guy? I'll go get Komet, see if Caleb Williams can find him.
Yeah, but is Komet the starter there now?
They're going to need every weapon they have. Like I said, I don't care if I have to cycle.
I don't know. They have 3 really good receivers now. They have Allen, Adunze, and DJ Moore. I think they signed Gerald Everett. I'm not sure who's starting though.
Are you happy?
I think they've been splitting time.
Yeah.
Come here real quick. My dog's being very needy at the moment. There we go.
Jonnu Smith, Miami's new tight end.
What'd you hear about him?
I don't know. Like last year, he was doing good on Atlanta, but that's because all of Atlanta's bums were doing good, and all of their superstar, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan, they weren't doing anything. But guys like Algier and Jonnu Smith and like Mac Hollins, like they were doing good because Arthur Smith doesn't know how to use his talent. So I don't know if Jonnu Smith was just a fluke, because he had some really good games with Atlanta last year. Let me see. What did he do last year? But I mean, Miami's never been one to really throw to the tight end in this offense. Like I like Mike Gesicki. I like Mike Gesicki this year. Actually, he's a sleeper tight end on my board. He's probably going to be starting now for Cincinnati. And he's a super good athletic tight end. He's just never really been in an offense that utilizes him correctly. Like,
Yeah. Almost the same thing with like Kate Otten here. His all the ability to be extremely good. It's just the amount of weapons that Baker has. He doesn't really throw to the tight end a ton.
Steve, did you see Fomington's message in chat?
I don't think so.
The draft chat.
Okay, let's see.
Having some issues, yeah.
He wants Marshawn Lloyd.
I don't know if you want to. I'm on the clock. If you want to pause it real quick and fix it.
I don't even know. Let me see. Let me pause this real quick. So what does he need to fix? Something?
It means Jaguars defense taken off. I don't know if it lets you assign a player to a team or not.
I mean, will it even allow me to remove his
I
pick?
don't know. I don't know what the back end looks like.
Okay, hold on. Why can't I access chat over here?
Leave it to Filmington to break things right towards the end.
Yeah, I can undo his last pick, but I'm not going to go and draft a player for him. So he kind of needs to. Why isn't it not letting me type in chat?
Oh, he ran out of roster spots. He's
Okay.
gee, Filmington. Oh my goodness. Wow.
You just want me to wait?
No, you're good. Filmington looking like the biggest noob of the draft.
Filmington's one of those guys I'd like to play fantasy baseball with.
Well, I see what She Blinded Me by Refractor says, but do you like to use roster spots on handcuffs?
Yeah. In a league this shallow, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's only because of the way the league
They're not my handcuffs. All upside, baby.
But it's sort of the same debate that you and I were having earlier about me saying, okay, I'm going to draft a guy that might give me some week 6, 7, 8 action, as opposed to holding a guy on a roster spot that may never see the field because you're banking on an injury. So it's kind of.
That's where you got to kind of make that decision at some point.
Yeah, but I took those guys a lot later. And if one of those guys goes down, those guys are the clear cut RB1s. Whereas your guy is probably still splitting.
Well, they're the clear cut backups, but I think a lot of times
Christian McCaffrey
Right.
goes down,
Yeah.
Jordan Mason's getting all the work.
yeah, he'll get all the work.
If Bijan goes down, we already know Tyler Algier's getting all the work. He did it last
Yeah.
year.
Well, he was the starter before they even drafted Bijan, but
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying. I don't know. You watch all these if you watch all these fantasy football YouTube videos and stuff, every week they're like waiver wire pickups of the week, and they're always telling you, okay, this guy got hurt, pick up his backup, and then you go and you pick up his backup, and he doesn't produce. So he's a backup player for a reason, and they a lot of times make it sound like McCaffrey gets hurt, get his backup, and you're going to get McCaffrey production. No, you're going to get production, but you know. A handcuff doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to perform like the person they're replacing.
I have pretty good faith.
I was going to say I like Algier. Like I said, he's a good runner and he started in the past. But Mason's not even the back. He's the backup's backup. It's just that Elijah Mitchell's hurt.
Elijah Mitchell's out for the season. So
Yeah, but that's what I mean. He would have been third string though. So
I think that was still up for debate. They were still figuring
it
that
wasn't.
out. but he gone.
He gone. He gone.
Rob, did you already open your composite?
Who said?
Yeah, I opened it over the weekend. My video is dropping tomorrow with it.
Okay. I was trying to think if I'd seen your video drop or not.
Yeah,
K-Man
tomorrow
is
morning.
saying, take Sinat. They drafted him for a reason. Yes, they drafted him because they had to draft somebody.
Not too hard to reuse these cracked PSA slabs.
Is that the one you crack with your hands?
Yeah, I cracked two. I cracked this one because I wanted my buddy. I made a card of my buddy.
Is that the new style case or the old style case?
It's the old style, but the guy that I talked to that the regular Instagram post that I saw, I asked him, has he done the new one? He's like, they are a little harder, but you do the same thing. You crack them with your hand. So as long as you push that thumb, 2 thumbs at the top and pull back on that lip, it starts to crack and you just wiggle it and then you just work your finger down it. And that's
Oh
it.
shit! I'm up. We're in round.
We're in the last round.
Last
right?
round. Well, it's the next to last round for you.
Yeah.
I only have
It says 14 and 15, but it looks like I only.
No, you're in
Yeah.
14 still.
You got
Oh,
a kicker.
wait, that's right. I'm looking at the roster and I got Ham's
Paul
team
Filmington.
highlighted. I had Ham's team highlighted. That was the problem.
Because you're looking at the championship team right now.
Paul Filmington.
Is that what I'm doing? Well, damn. Old ass Adam Thielen is on there. Oh, I'm going to take this.
He just
dude right
happens to
here.
be on like the worst possible team.
Surprised that he was still on the board. I mean, that Green Bay wide receiver room is crowded, but still. There goes your boy Bucky. Mike,
Hey,
you're at your
some-
handcuff.
Somebody has to take a
There
chance on it.
goes your handcuff, man.
That's all right.
Oh, man.
We got another sleeper on the team that people don't know about.
Oh, I know who I'm picking next. Let's go. Somebody don't take him, please. I should take Tank Bigsby to back up Travis Etienne. But I'm not.
I thought about him last round.
No, there goes Tua. I should have took a backup quarterback because Anthony Richardson is a
You're getting ready to
liability.
pick again.
He's a liability. There's no.
I'm surprised
no.
nobody draft. Tua gets
Oh.
no love at all when you
No.
when
No,
you
he
have
doesn't.
Hill and Waddle. It's kind of insane.
Led the league in passing yards last year. No, these quarterbacks on the board right now, Mike, aren't worth drafting. I plucked them off the waiver wire if I'm desperate later, and there'll probably be a better quarterback.
Tua was
available
worth
later.
drafting. Tua was worth drafting.
Oh yeah, but when people realize they shouldn't have drafted a backup quarterback, then like if you have Patrick Mahomes and you drafted a backup quarterback, you're just wasting.
But
a
you got to
roster
be,
spot.
you just got to be fearful that your guy goes down and now you're what you have to pick.
You're not
from.
drafting Patrick Mahomes thinking that he's going to get hurt. You're
I
taking him
know
in the
that,
first
but I'm
round.
saying if you're at the end of the draft, you have no idea what you want because everybody sucks. Why wouldn't you take at least halfway decent quarterback as a failsafe?
Because you have the chance of drafting a player that can break out and be a superstar as opposed to
Yeah,
somebody
well,
that's
you
never,
pick
as opposed to somebody
You're
that's
picking
only going
right
to hit
now.
the
Can you show
field.
me who that is? I want to see your
As
guy.
opposed to somebody
I wanna see
that's
your
only
guy.
going to hit the field if your top, like one of your top 3 round picks gets hurt. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
he'll hit the field on the bye week.
Like it makes sense if you have like a back end quarterback or a quarterback that's
Deshaun
risky.
Watson.
But if you have Hurts, Allen, or Mahomes, if you have any of those top 5 quarterbacks, it doesn't make sense to waste a roster spot on a backup quarterback. That's in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I get you. I mean,
The only
I'd
one
say-
justifiable is Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, he's just because you don't know what you're going to get. That's why I would draft a backup for myself. That's why.
Do
I
you
took
know?
Kirk
Do you know
Cousins
what
in
you're
the
getting
draft.
out of Burrow anymore?
Barring injury, yes.
But I mean, he's been injured a lot.
Yeah, but he's not a top 5 pick either.
No, but is he top 10?
If you're drafting it, we're talking about
Top
their
10
top
quarterback.
5.
Good. Top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, but there's a big difference in fantasy between your top 5 and then your next 5.
Hmm.
Because I mean, what Anthony Richardson is ranked right now 5 or 6. It doesn't mean he's going to live up to that draft position. But we know
Yeah.
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, probably C.J. Stroud. Did I say Jalen Hurts? You know, any of those guys, barring injury, we know that they're going to be really good quarterbacks. So the only thing that's going to take them off the field is an injury and a bye week.
Yeah.
So usually if something happens to if you draft one of those players and something happens to him, you just go to the waiver wire and grab somebody. But I don't believe personally in tying up a roster spot to have Patrick Mahomes backup in case he gets hurt. One of the benefits about drafting one of those top 5 quarterbacks is that you can set it and forget it and never have to worry about rostering another quarterback.
Yeah.
It gives you more room to play with your roster by that argument. I am going to have a roster spot here in a minute anyway, because I'm going to be able to put Jonathan Brooks on my injured reserve and then go to the waiver wire and grab somebody else.
One thing I hate about the app here, it's hard to search for player by position.
Yeah, having a double scoop, like I like having a double dip, a good quarterback with a good receiver, but it doesn't mean you just draft a quarterback and their receiver. You know what I mean? Typically, a number 1 wide receiver and a number 1 quarterback are going to be good regardless if you pair them or not. And then if you do pair them, that's what's really good. But you don't just pair somebody to pair them, right? Like I'm not going to draft Drake London and then pull Kirk Cousins up the board just because I want to have the quarterback and wide receiver tandem.
No, I use it as like a tiebreaker. Like if I'm between 2 guys, then I'll take the hookup.
Yeah, that's how I am. Just like getting Tyreek Hill, you're not going to overdraft Tua so that you have a double scoop. I'm sure you would rather have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Hurts or Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes as opposed to Tyreek Hill and Tua.
Yeah.
And that's, just because the players are better. So in a
lot
of cases,
sweepstakes.
And in a lot of cases, the player will outweigh the value of the double scoop. Now, where the double scoop really can help you is if you're playing in a best ball league. Best ball leagues, the double scoop is a lot more valuable than a regular redraft league.
You almost have to draft for the hookup in best ball leagues.
Yeah.
If you want any chance, especially if you're playing in like a tournament. All right, boys, that's a wrap.
Locked in.
Next year, Steve, will this be the Fanatics Fest fantasy draft league giveaway?
I don't know. We have to cross that bridge when we get there. It's like, who knows if the giveaway's even still going, right?
I guess it'll depend on where you want to go.
Yeah, I don't know from one year to the next. Like, I don't even know where I want to go this year, to be honest. I've been to 2 Chicago Nationals, and the Chicago National would be awesome, but what if there was a Fanatics Fest that I thought would be better? Now, judging like when we had our live stream the other night, like what I saw online or on social media about Fanatics Fest, to me, still makes me feel like I would rather attend the National. But that's because the stuff that I was seeing going on at Fanatics Fest was just not my cup of tea. But that's just personally me. And that's just what I was seeing on social media. I wasn't actually there to witness the entirety of it. So I don't know.
So based on what you saw, what would change your mind to go to a Fanatics Fest over the National? What would they need to add to entice Steve to choose the Fanatics Fest over the National?
To me, to and I may be completely wrong. I'm just going by what I saw mostly on Instagram. To me, Fanatics Fest looked like a popularity contest.
It looked like a very large organized event surrounded by social media.
Right. But I think, like I said in our live stream, I think like the social media side of it, and I know we like to go to the National and shoot content, but I feel like the social media part, see, we go to the National and we shoot content is like a thing on the side.
Yeah, but what's also too is like we're there for cards. We pretty much look at cards.
That's what I mean. I feel like cards headlines the event headlines the events within the event at the National, and I felt like the events headlined the event over the cards, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like the cards outweighs the intangibles at the National, and I feel like the intangibles at Fanatics Fest is what was shown to be more important than the actual card aspect of it. Now, when I'm talking cards, I'm talking about dealers and showcases and things, not breaking and stuff like that. It seemed like breaking and wax and the celebrities / athletes that were there was more important than the dealer setup. And the other way around, the National, I feel like the dealer setup is more important than the athletes that are signing and things like that.
I mean, with
And it's just going to be more old school too.
Yeah, I don't even care honestly about the Breakers arena that they have. I honestly, if they didn't have it there, it wouldn't make my life any worse or better. Because
You mean at the National?
we don't sit there and watch them break anything.
You're
know what I
talking
mean?
about the National?
At the National, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like most of the stuff that was pumped up coming out of Fanatics Fest was the breaking aspect of it. Was
they
this
just want to
fame-
pump Fanatics
was
live.
this-
I mean, they didn't have like a.
Well,
record
I mean,
deal.
regardless of what their motive is, I'm just telling you, okay, the motive may be, yes, they want to pump Fanatics live. Okay. Regardless of the motive, I'm telling you what it seemed like was coming out of it, regardless of what their reasoning was behind doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So, like, I'm not saying what they were doing was wrong for their business.
No.
But I mean, if you're trying to defend Fanatics, then that's what you would say. Okay, well, they got to do what is best for Fanatics. Okay, well, that's fine. But I want to do what's best for me.
Yeah. Like I said, with Fanatics Fest, again, it's a 3-day event versus basically a 5-day event. I don't know. Part of also what goes on at the National is the after hours events and shows and parties or what events we go to. Fanatics, I'm sure they probably had some of that, but it didn't seem like it. I didn't see anybody going to a Tops event or anything in the evening. I mean, they didn't have
Bleecker had stuff pretty much.
I got a call real quick.
But yeah, that's what I mean. It's just, but it didn't feel the same. Does that make sense? I guess it's in New York too.
I mean, they didn't have like an on-site trade night or any of that stuff. So
yeah, so it's just built different, for sure. And I'm just curious. I mean, I'd be curious every year moving forward for a while until we figure it out. But this Fanatics Fest that's coming to Orlando, which to me I think is going to mimic more of a national style of an event, is what's real curious to me, because when people start realizing they can go to these other events and not have to go to the National and they're cheaper, it's
way in better locations. Even if it's the same costs, it's way easier to justify going to Orlando for a weekend than it is to Chicago.
Correct. Plus, I mean, Florida's a very large mecca of sports card people. I mean, we have a ton of people here. I have shows all the time. There's shows around me all the time. I just don't go to them because the same guys are already coming to the other 2 or 3 shows I go to, no matter what. They just branch out in little other ones that, span 30 to 45 minutes northeast, south of me nonstop. So there's multiple times I'm at a show. There's always another show somewhere else going on at the same time. We always have shows in Jacksonville. We have shows in Miami. We have shows in Fort Lauderdale. We have shows in Sarasota. So, I mean, it's just like the state is just covered with people, and almost everybody moves here and retires. So, I mean, we have a very good diversity of cards from vintage to modern all the way through it. And we have a diversity of extremely valuable cards to cards that are just normal cards. I mean, I'm not in other states, so I don't get to see that. And I'm sure places like up in Philly and stuff like that have that too. But I feel like it would be more predominantly vintage based, I guess, than down here for sure. But I don't get to go to the show. You've been to a couple more regional type shows than I have. And I haven't been to a Dallas, but from what I hear, a Dallas show's a selling show. And if you're buying, it's specific stuff you're buying, because all the dealers that go over there always come back with a ton of stuff. So it's like a hub for that. But does Dallas start getting hit because of all these other places that you can go? If there's real card shows going on, at what point do you start putting a big strain on those people that constantly have to set up and travel everywhere? Plus, a lot of these people own stores. So there's also that as well.
People are going to go wherever Fanatic beckon calls them to go. from a
Correct. Well,
dealer's
that's the thing
standpoint.
right now is Fanatics calls you, hey, I want you to set up at this show. They're not giving you anything, but you can't tell them no. Because once you tell them no, they're not gonna call you ever again.
Naughty list. You're on the naughty list.
You're on the naughty list. Because since Fanatics has taken over and my shop down the street's got an allocation, he never was going to the Nationals. He showed up to Fanatics Fest. He was the guy that was dressed up as a Mets baseball player because he was drafted by the Mets. So he had his card around it, and he had multiple news source media, whatever was there.
Oh, I saw him walking around. I didn't
Correct.
realize
So
that was illegal to get.
that is not something he would normally do. He's like, I wasn't going to buy cards. I wasn't going to sell cards. I was going for this because I was asked. Okay. Makes sense. So they're just constantly, Steve, if you're talking to us, we can't hear you.
You're muted, Steve, if you're talking to us. I don't know
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
still on the phone
If
or
you guys
not.
are still talking about Fanatics, man, you can sit here and rub Fanatics buns the rest of the night. I got to get ready to go for another draft, but I wanted to say Incognito is asking like fantasy football questions, and we're not a fantasy football channel. We do sports cards, but I play a lot of fantasy football, but I'm not like one of these so-called YouTube experts. But if you're asking Tyreek Hill, David Montgomery, or A.J. Brown, James Cook, full PPR, I like A.J. Brown, James Cook.
Yeah, I'd take that combo too.
I like that combo better. And we didn't get to preface this with the start. I just and a lot of people have probably already left, but the reasoning behind this fantasy football draft and this league, this content creators league, is because all of the buy-in money goes towards the 2025 national giveaway. You guys know we've been doing for 4 years now. For the first 3 years, I did it on my own. I sent somebody to the national every year from the YouTube channel. Last year, we started this fantasy football league, and it was successful in raising the funds to pay for the accommodations for the person who wins the giveaway. And again, we have some repeaters in the league again this year. All three of us were in the league last year. We run down the people who are in the league just so I can give them their shout out for participating and their donation. Some of these guys are going to be familiar to y'all, and some of them aren't. Well, let me go in here and get the list so I don't miss anybody. I tend to go off the top of my head, then I forget somebody. So we have me, Cards and Comics, who is a content creator on YouTube. Go check him out. Chris Soule, who, of course, is sports card collector, investor, dealer. Jeff Wilson, sports card investor.
Defending champion, Jeff Wilson.
Defending champion. We have Jay. We have Jay, who's actually in the chat. He's ducking cards on Instagram. We have Ken, who has sports card lessons on YouTube and also a podcast, Ken Carnes. We have the Haminator right here, and Neo, of course. Phil Filmington. You'll see him on his channel, his Rookie Explosion. You'll see him on Spitballing Cards with Scotty B and some others. So check him out. Representing the vloggers this year, we have Roth Cards. He's new to the league. Sheesh took time off of his busy schedule, traveling and doing cards to join the league and the cause. We have Dustin, the sports card dad, who is sleepless in Seattle right now, and he's just kind of here. He's the easy money person in the league, so he's kind of like the easy win.
You got to give him a lot of help for not getting on when
I know.
you got on
And
from
then,
another country.
And of course, we have Ziggy No, who is everybody's favorite watchdog turned professional breaker now.
Mm-hmm.
So check out Ziggy No or the card.
He got corporate. He's like McMahon bought him out.
Yeah, he got bought out by the corporation, but well, you can check him out on the Card Hunter and on still his Ziggy No. Correct. He has multiple channels going on. So that's the 12 guys that have participated in this year's national giveaway. Because again, all the buy-in goes to helping send somebody to the national giveaway and to help me and alleviate some of the costs. Now it's us. You know, the giveaway is still on my channel, but I have help now. It's not just me. It was my idea, but hey, that's all I wanted to do was start with an idea and get some other people to come along. And the Fantasy Football League has kind of done it for us. And you guys in the chat, you guys already know a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about because you watch our channels and you support us. So hopefully this is a fun year. And good luck to everybody. Not really, but I'll say that in good sportsmanship. But yeah, we will get a small trophy out of this. And bragging rights, but this is mainly for the national giveaway. That's why we do this. And none of us are these professional fantasy football people you see out there. We just watch football and we like football and we like to have fun with it. And a lot of it's just common sense. Steve got on live from Prague, but Dustin can't. I got on live from Prague, but Dustin can't get on live from Seattle. That's exactly what we said the other night.
Pretty
We
much.
were like,
And we know he's sitting here watching this too, so that must make sure.
Probably. I mean, Jeff got online from a random street in Atlanta while his kid was in school.
oh, yes, Jeff was on live from Atlanta just now. Yeah. And Dustin
Yeah,
can't get on.
literally sitting in a street with a laptop and a cell phone, and Dustin couldn't grace us with his presence. Dustin
Priorities.
owns. All right, boys, we're going to get off here. Thanks, chat. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for putting it together, Steve, for the cause.
Yep. Thanks for streaming it, Neo. I struggle with that type of stuff. So with the
Oh,
streaming
good.
the extra screens and stuff.
I don't know. When are we back for Off Center? Is that next week?
Yeah,
So-
the following week.
It's not tomorrow because I was in Prague, remember?
Yeah,
Wednesday.
we were on last week. So, yeah, next week.
I'm
Next
gonna
week,
be
we'll
on-
go live. Maybe Steve will walk the beach and see if he can
Picking
get
up
proposition
hookers.
by the end of the night.
I was in Prague picking up hookers.
I'll be on Jeremy Lee's show on Saturday night.
Oh, look at you.
Oh,
Man, you're
okay.
just all over the place.
Well, I'm probably gonna call into SCR too at some point.
I have a question. When are we going to see some fishing? Because I see this Michael Ham fishing and sports card hobbyist.
You know, I was just talking to them at work. I actually wrote it on the calendar at work to let them know I was taking a few days off. Grouper season just opened up here, and it's only a 15-day season this
Grouper
year.
sandwich.
Yep. So I'm gonna go try and catch some gag grouper, and do a little cook thing too. Show you how you can eat the whole head of the fish and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, don't take a cameraman with you. You don't want to waste their time.
It's hard videotaping fish.
All right, Neo, you're ready
All right,
to
boys.
cut it. All right. See you
See y'all,
guys.
everybody.
Later.
Bye.